This is Howard, as far as this train goes.
Just got off the red line at Howard. Now we're waiting for the yellow line, taking it to Oakton.
This is Oakton, Skokie.
Okay, apologies about the wind, but not the best weather today again. So we came from downtown Chicago, took the red line all the way to Howard, and then took the yellow line to Oakton, and now we're going on another nature adventure. So right now, we're walking on the Skokie Valley Trail, and this is formerly there was a train line here that would go downtown, and now it's been turned into a pedestrian and cyclist path, which is nice because there's no cars here. So our plan is to, so what I already did was took the red line, took the yellow line, now we're going to walk down this path, and we're going to go to the Emily Oaks Nature Center. I've never been there before. I looked at some pictures online, it seemed kind of cool. So this is, once again, going to be these public transportation to nature videos, and after we go to the nature center, we're just going to continue down this path because it is pretty long, and eventually it'll take us to the same woods that I made a previous video about when I went to Forest Glen in Jefferson Park, Chicago, and we're going to explore those woods a little bit too, because that's like a different section of the woods that I didn't go to earlier, and then we're going to catch the Metra back to downtown Chicago and get off at Union Station. So red line, yellow line, Skokie Trail, Nature Center, more forests, Metra, and then Union Station. That's the plan. So let's go. So we have Tecumseh Park over here. But from what I can see, it doesn't really seem that great. It seems like it's a pretty small park. And by the way, this looks like I can get a peek. Yeah, I don't think there's much going on over there. This trail is quite long. It's about 3 miles. And it's gonna take me over an hour to walk it, because I'm gonna have to stop to film. So far I'll say the nature is okay. The paved path does make it pretty easy to walk. But one thing I will say is these power lines do kind of take away from the nature of it a bit, you know? By the way, more planes. And, oh look, it's a highway. Or maybe not a highway, just a busy road. But I believe the nature center is just around that corner. So I believe this is the nature center. Where you see this rattlesnake master. I'm not going anywhere near that. So there is like a building, like an inside area that you can go in. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick on the trails on the outside. Yeah, you can go in there if you want, but I'm going to skip that. Let me figure out which way I'm going. These woods seem pretty decent. There's that like bench area over there. That bench area. I did bring some snacks with me, a little bit of fruit. So after I get back to this, yeah, well, once I get back over there, on my way out, I think I'll stop there and eat some food, or maybe I'll find another scenic spot. But yeah, tell me what you think. So that's the picnic area. I kind of want to see what's over here. You know, I always love to go down the side trails. But like I said, it is like 3.2 miles on the Skokie Trail, so I don't want to spend too much time getting sidetracked. But this is an interesting area. Not really sure what goes on here. You see there's more trails over there. I think this is part of the trail. I mean, it looks like it, right? Okay. Looks like that's a dead end. I do kind of like that pond area, but I wonder. Oh, this is a nice spot. I'm not going to go down every side trail, but I do want to get a little bit of an idea of what it's like here. Well, I see a rock with a plaque on it over here. But yeah, I've never heard this place before. And so far it's not the greatest, but it's not all that bad either. Reflection point on Cussum Pond. Wow, look at this. There's a goose over there. Some nice benches. You know, I think I'm going to stop here. Snacks, drink some water. And then we'll continue exploring. By the way, does anyone else like eat kiwi just like this? Where you bite it like an apple? You know, for whatever reason, you can't eat it like that. But like the fur is not that difficult to eat. It really is like an apple skin. Well, I ate my kiwi and drank some water. So, and based on the research that I've done, I think we've walked about half of this place already. And so I'll just have the reflection pond. We'll continue walking on the rest of the trails, and then we'll continue down the Skokie Trail all the way to Forest Glen. So it looks like this side trail kind of continues around the perimeter of the reflection pond, but I wanted to show you guys these geese. whole bunch of them. Let's continue. What's it doing? Is it like fishing down there? That's cute. It is a little bit cool today, but I think it is a really nice time of year to be here with the leaves starting to change colors. And it looks like we have another clearing up here. Look at this big log. Or there's a big tree that fell. Look how tall that was. Let's see what's over here. Okay, so it looks like I'm sort of back on the main path area. Made it back on the paved trail over here, although it's kind of hard to tell with all the leaves that have fallen. Some kind of gathering area. I mean, the infrastructure here is pretty good. It's not like like you're really out in the wilderness. You know, benches, water fountains, covered areas to sit and eat. And I think we've almost gone through the whole length of it. I'm gonna go see what this sign says. Okay. So I think we'll just continue through here. We'll pretty much be back in the entrance again. Yeah, imagine living right there, right next to it. Yeah, we're basically right at the exit/entrance again. So this will probably be the last shot of the Emily Oaks Nature Preserve. See you on the trail. Well, we're back on the trail. Once again, we have those power lines in front of us. I'm gonna try to walk with a bit of a pace now. It's because it's kind of nice out here, but it's not super scenic. It's not as nature dense as it was over there. So we're just gonna keep walking. It's probably still almost 3 miles. I didn't even cover that much ground from the yellow line stop. And we still have to get to the woods, walk through there. Then we have to make it to the Metra stop, so. Here, I'll get a shot over here. Yeah, I think you can get the idea. If it gets pretty again, I'll start filming. Yeah, it's not the greatest trail when it's like a parking lot over here, power lines up there, and then just homes over there. You know, not the most nature dense, but it's still kind of nice. I'm just a big fan of like having a path I can walk on without having to be right next to traffic the way a sidewalk is. However, the downside of this trail also is that we do have to cross the road at various spots, so we'll have to negotiate traffic. Let's see if they honor the stop sign. Yeah, so the stop sign is actually for pedestrians and cyclists. There's no stop sign for cars. You kind of just have to wait for a lull in traffic. I mean, like, it is legally a crosswalk, so I think they do have to stop for you. The thing is, a lot of people just aren't going to do it. I was able to cross because there was a red light going one way, and then a school bus driver stopped and let me cross. Unfortunately, you do kind of have to wait. That's just the woes of being a pedestrian. Look at this monument. Is that a butterfly? Grasshopper type thing? So it looks like there's still at the trail over there, but there's also a bridge. I think I'm definitely gonna go take the bridge. So I think the bridge is like a pedestrian bridge to make it easier so you don't have to cross the street up there. I appreciate it. I'll get a nice shot of the bridge and like the view from up there once we get there. Okay, we made it up. Here's the view. I think it's starting to rain a little bit too. Isn't that perfect? I like these trees up here. It's a really pretty color on their leaves. Well, the trail continues. Okay, hood up because the rain is that. Sun and rain. If you can't tell, it is close to Halloween. Well, just almost got hit again at one of those crosswalks, but well, actually not again. That was the first time today. What happened was that I was crossing. The cars were kind of like stopped in one direction, but in the opposite direction. The car like it was far enough away. I had time to cross, but the driver like did not make any effort to slow down, probably because they were distracted. And I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Like the whole time that I was crossing, I knew there was time to make it, but I did hear the car brake kind of hard. It's just like, come on. It's literally a crosswalk. I know it might have been kind of hard to see me, unfortunately, but there are flashing lights, and I don't know. The trail is kind of pretty, I'll say, but the whole like negotiating those crosswalks when those drivers really don't want to stop, because don't forget, we're still in the suburbs right now. Chicago drivers are a little bit better than that, but still frequently at crosswalks they just don't like to stop, even though they're required to for pedestrians. That being said, I know what I'm doing. I'm quite an experienced pedestrian. I crossed because I knew there was going to be enough time to make it, even if they didn't stop at all. But I figured they would at least slow down a little bit and not like have it be close. But fortunately, I'm good at gauging these things. Just take care of yourself if you come on this trail. We got another bridge, and this time this bridge goes over Peterson Avenue, so now we are in Chicago. The bridge is much safer. Another bridge, and this time it's over Rogers Avenue. I have noticed that it does seem like there's more bridges over the streets in Chicago compared to the suburbs. That is something I appreciate. Also, the rain stopped too, and the sun is sort of peeking out of the clouds. It really is a nice fall day now. And also the Skokie Trail is about to end, at which point we're going to switch to the Spur Trail and enter the, I think, Labaugh Woods. Very similar woods to I went to in a previous video. We might take Metra to get there. Except this time we'll go there at the end of the video and then take Metra back. I think we have reached the end of the Skokie Trail. Yep. Actually, so that's, what did that say? The Sanguiers Trail, whatever. Some word I can't pronounce. That trail is right here, I believe. So this one is not paved. And by the way, there's actually two Skokie trails. That was the south one. There's a north one that's even further into the suburbs. But now we're on the trail that will connect us to La Ba Woods. Lagh. See how rocky this trail is? And it's kind of slanted too. Not necessarily the most easy to walk on. It would be very difficult to ride a bike too, I imagine. I think it might honestly be easier to come here. Or is this meant to be the bike trail? And this is the pedestrian trail? I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna keep walking on here because if that is the bike trail, it's way too narrow for me and a biker. So look, we have another side trail. I do think this is taking us to a body of water. I think it's the Chicago River. Yeah, if you saw my previous video, this place does look a bit familiar. Look at that tree blocking the path up there. Okay, look at this. This is why the side trails are kind of cool. 2 deer. I'm not gonna get too close and scare them. 3 deer. They're coming towards me. This is absolutely crazy. I don't think they're actually gonna come up to me because they're known for being timid, right? They're probably used to people though. Well, and also I think the side trail ends up there, and I don't want to intrude on these deer. But that is really cool. Okay, now I'm back on the main trail, and I don't want to get distracted anymore because I do want to get back to the metro station in time to catch this train. But I do believe we have the Chicago River coming up in a little bit. Okay, just one more side trail. A little bit steep here. Okay, back up we go. I just wanted to show the river, but we don't really have time to hang around that long, unfortunately. Okay, now we're back on the paved trail, so we should be able to walk a little bit faster. I do think we'll make it to the Metra stop just fine. I just don't want to have to worry about it and then end up having to run again. So this is the picnic grove area and the parking lot. we still have some time, so I want to go on this short little trail right next to the Chicago River. Okay. Anyone remember this place? Where it all began in the past? Made it to the Metra stop. I just had to figure out how to get to the platform. Okay, up here, and then to platform 2. Okay, so you see that sign up there? And it says to Chicago. That means we're going to platform 2 through this tunnel under here. We still have like about 20 minutes to spare. Alright, should be in the right spot. Gonna come from there in about 15 minutes.
many cars. Now approaching Western Avenue. Please take a few moments to familiarize yourself with the location of the emergency exit. Each half of the car is equipped with at least 2 emergency exit windows. Opening instructions are on each window. Now approaching Chicago Union Station.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Well, we made it back to Union Station. So we went to a nature center, walked the whole length of the Southern Skokie Trail, walked through the woods, and we did it all via public transportation. Yellow Line, Red Line, and Metra. So you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.